let's get into it. I did not know what was happening to me. I knew something was changing, but I couldn't directly put my hands on it. I couldn't pinpoint it. I didn't understand just how much perimenopause was changing and affecting my life. So from the outside, I was still working. I was still doing all the things. I was still carrying on with life, all right? But on the inside, I'm talking about to the core of my being, I felt like I was falling apart. I mean, I almost lost everything. I always say, I felt like it was, when they say like I lost everything in the flood, I felt like I was losing everything. And most importantly, I felt like I was losing my mind. Every day, I just felt like it was a struggle every day. Listen, perimenopause had me losing my mind. And I almost lost everything in that flood because I couldn't figure out what to do, how to do it, or anything. So this is where we are today. And this is just me being very real and transparent. My name is Stella. I am 48 years old. I am now a year with no cycle. So I'm going to be very open and transparent with you all, my process, because guess what? Some of you may be experiencing the same thing, and we're going to talk about it, okay? Now, let's talk about just what I was experiencing, okay? And this may be relatable to you, and if it is, make sure you leave me something down here, because I don't want to feel like I was all alone, and I don't want you to feel like you was all alone. So I made sure throughout this process, I wrote a list, all right? So let me look at my list. Depression, all right? I was experiencing depression, crying. I never cried so much. I don't even think I got any more water left in my eye sockets. Cried so much, okay? Extreme fatigue. I was just wiped out, all right? Anger and irritability. Let me tell you something. I would fight anybody at any time. It didn't matter. Baby, I was from 0 to 1,000. Nowhere in between, all right? Nowhere. It was either I'm good or I'm all the way bad. It ain't no in between and none of that, all right? Anxiety and overthinking. That was probably one of the worst feelings that I had, y'all. I would just be anxious and just overthinking everything. This is a big one, and I know a lot of y'all can relate to this one. Changes in my body and my whole perception of my body image was just all the way thrown off because I just seemed like I started packing on weight in between here and here. Baby, I was just getting out of proportion, and I was working out every single day. I was still eating the same. So I'm here to tell you, when all them people say you just got to do it, perimenopause, it changes your whole body, okay? Little to no sleeping. That may be one of the reasons why I had all these other issues, because I probably was only getting like 3 hours of sleep at the most, okay? Because I was hot, and for whatever reason, I just couldn't sleep, all right? Feeling overwhelmed about everything. Everything threw me off. Every single thing I had going, it could be something minor and things that I normally can deal with. All right. I just wasn't able to deal with it. Let me tell you something. It just seemed like everything was just just falling down. All right. Not feeling like myself. It just didn't feel like myself. And to be honest with you, I knew I was perimenopausal, but y'all, I did not know I was almost about to come to a stop. Okay, with my cycle altogether. I had no idea. I just knew that my body, I was like, oh, perimenopause, this thing is bad. But I had no idea that I was like nearing the end of having no cycle. How did I kind of have talked and probably hit on some of the things that you probably experienced or what have you? I want to talk about how all of those things really start affecting my life and kind of led me to why perimenopause and being in perimenopause nearly destroyed my whole life, okay? My relationships with people. I was in a relationship and I just couldn't deal with it. I couldn't, it was just every little thing just threw me off. I had no capacity to understand. I had little to no emotions. I did not care about anything. that pertain to a relationship. I was just trying to manage just being alive most of the time. So it started affecting my relationship in a very, very negative way. And then on top of that, when we all get to a certain age in life, especially if we still have our parents and grandparents, when we are going through perimenopause, it's hard. And I was taking care of my mom at the time. So I'm going through all of that. At the same time. And then my mom passed away right in the middle of it. So it just felt like the whole world was just caving in. And I went through the whole, let me try to find the right words, because we on YouTube, we live. So let me just try to say this in a way. It was times where I would have ended it all if I could. I thought about it so many times, but let me tell you something. Even though I thought about it and I said, this would relieve me, I was still stressed and worried about, if I do this, how it's going to affect my family, how it's going to affect my kids. So that you got stress on top of stress. You got I want to do it. What would life be if I just did it? I wouldn't have to stress no more. And then I'm worried about, my kids. And then I'm worried about my faith. So it was just a lot. All right. So on top of that, it was just a lot of things that was just going on with life. Another way it affected me, and a lot of you all, I know it's some other people that can relate to this. My job. I have a career. I have been where I have been working for many years. But I wanted to quit, and I wanted to quit every single day. Okay. Every time it was time for me to go to work, I would get anxiety. I would not want to get up out the bed just to go to work. I didn't want to do nothing that pertained to work. I was in la la land. God really kept me throughout this process, because I was at work and I wasn't at work. I was supposed to be working, but I wasn't working. I was just basically just trying to get through. I was just God's grace and mercy just carried me through that whole little process. Okay. And I'm not saying that I'm all the way through it, but I feel like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. So, and now that I talk about that in my relationship with my kids, and a lot of people had to deal with me and my anger and my, ability to be irritated very, very easily. It was so many. I was just going through a lot. And the one thing that I realized that I lost was myself. I lost myself. Everything, I just started viewing it in a negative way. All right. So I didn't recognize the woman in the mirror anymore. It was just so tough. And when you don't recognize who you are in the mirror, it's easy for you to be like, I don't want to do this life thing no more, and try to find a way out. So if you are feeling like that, and you're feeling super depressed, just know that you're not alone. You're not alone, as far as being in perimenopause. And if you start to feel like that, just know that it's not you. It's the depression. It's the anxiety. It's the hormones. It's the phase of life that you are in. And you might have to get some medication. When I told my doctor all this, she said, I need to put you on some medication. Okay. We need to get you on some medication, or we're going to have to get you checked in. It was that bad for me. And I'm only saying this because it's somebody out there that may be struggling with the same thing I am. And I don't want you to lose faith. I don't want you to lose hope. I want you to see this video, and I want you to be like, you know what? Let me get me some help or something like that. Okay. That led me into the realization. I had to realize that, something had to change. I had to realize that I needed help. A person like me, I never had to need help from anybody. I was a strong woman and I could just do this on my own. But I realized for one of the first times in my life that I wasn't able to do this alone. I had to get some help. Okay. So this is what I did. This is where we get to the part where I actually healed myself. Now, I did have to make some changes to my diet and eating and stuff like that. Now, the weight didn't just fall off, and it's not just falling off that easy, but I have a different way of looking at it now. So my perception or perspective in life had to change. Okay, so how I view it and understand that this is the phase of life that I'm in, and I need to be grateful in it and learn how to embrace it. Okay, so we're gonna get into some of the things that help me. All right, so one of the first things we're gonna talk about HRT. Okay, so I actually started HRT, and I'm gonna just show you all just some of the things that I use while I am on HRT. So this little container right here, I actually, hopefully y'all can see it. And this is the roll on. Now in this, I actually had this compounded because when I went to the doctor didn't want to give me anything. My actual doctor didn't want to give me anything. She was saying, oh, it causes breast cancer. So she didn't want to prescribe it. Okay. That's fine. All right. But I actually went to a wellness place. They compounded my estradiol and my testosterone. All right. Let me see if I can show it to you all. All right. Hopefully y'all can see it. But anyway, I'm supposed to use 2 clicks of this, and I use mine in the morning. Okay, I actually use mine in the morning because I take progesterone. I'm gonna show y'all just what the capsule just kind of look like. The one that I take. Okay, it's like a little gel cap. Okay, y'all see that? All right. So this one is 200 milligrams. So I take progesterone at night. So I'll do the roll on or whatever. I actually do mine on my thigh. So before I was rudely interrupted. Okay, so we back. All right, so those are the two that the 3 things that I was using. They just compounded the testosterone and the estradiol, and I was taking progesterone at night to help me go to sleep. This is another thing that I had to do, y'all, was I was prescribed doxepin to help me to sleep. Okay. But what it did for me was it made me sleep all right. But the next day when I was supposed to be working on top of, prior to now, I wasn't able to focus at work. Now I'm just like, when is it time for me to go to bed? So it really, really made me very drowsy the next day. So what I did with that is I don't take it every night. But if I didn't sleep well tonight, and I start noticing where I'm getting in that pattern of not sleeping well, then I'll just go ahead and take one and kind of help get myself back on track. And then, I take melatonin. So on the nights that I don't take the doxepin, I do take melatonin for the most part every night. And a lot of people, I can show y'all bottles and chews and all kind of the little gummy things that I was taking, the magnesium. None of that worked for me. I was just spending money, and it just was not working. On top of that, I did not bring that one out here, but I do take seed probiotics. It was very, very important for me for my gut health during that time as well. Now, after all of that, now I was going to the wellness clinic to get all of my stuff for the most part, y'all. And now all of a sudden my doctor says, hey, your labs came back and, hey, we need to get you on something else. All right. Some light going on up in here. But anywho, we back. So now my doctor, let me tell you what my doctor did. So after that, my doctor said, you know what, we're going to do some labs again. And so after she decided to do some labs again, she said, oh, your labs indicate that you are, in menopause, like you have no estrogen and you have no. And so now she decides to give me something. Now I have been paying. It cost me $130 a month. Okay. It cost me $130 a month. And that was just for the estradiol and to have my labs done. And then the progesterone, the estradiol, the testosterone. And I had to pay extra for the progesterone. So the progesterone was $60 every month. So it's $130 plus 60. So I call myself trying to be jazzy because I knew, okay, can you just write me a prescription for the progesterone, right? They told me that it costs $40 just for them to write the prescription. So I'm so happy now that my doctor has finally come around to the program. You know what I'm saying? They finally started, giving women or what have you, what they need or what they want. And the problem that I had with this is I'm all for the people that wanted to do the natural route. Kudos to you. Everybody got their way. But my thing is they didn't mind giving us those birth control pills when we was like 16 years old. They didn't mind. They was throwing the birth control pills at us. And so now where I'm old enough to make a conscious decision on what it is that I want for my health, they tell me, oh, it causes cancer. Y'all wasn't worried about it causing cancer when we were 16. Y'all wasn't worried about it then. But now all of a sudden, y'all worried about it. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox with that. But anyway, so this is what they gave me now. I have not tried these yet because I'm trying to use up what I got. But this is what they done gave your girl. They done gave your girl a patch. So I won't have to be paying that $130. So y'all make sure y'all talk to y'all doctor and you got to stay on their neck. Sometimes you got to stay on your doctor's neck until they give you what it is that you need. Okay. So I'm off my soapbox with that. The things that I take as far as prescriptions and far as medication or whatever. And I do take a multivitamin, but hey, all right. So another thing that I did, y'all, is I walk a lot. Every Sunday I do a long walk where I just put my headphones on and keep one ear off because, you just have to be careful out here, ladies. You have to be careful out here walking. But I walk a lot, sometimes from 10, 15 to 20,000. Sometimes I'll set a week goal where I walk 20,000 steps every single day. Just so when I start feeling myself getting anxious or full of anxiety, I just get out and just start walking. That's just my thing. So walking, y'all, helps a lot. I do strength training, so that was nothing out of the ordinary for me. But if you don't do strength training, then try to get in there and do you some strength training to kind of, help with your muscles. We want to keep our muscles or whatever, okay? Another thing I had to do, y'all, was alone time. So I did HRT, walking. Now we on alone time. I had to schedule some spa dates. I had to be okay with telling everybody, you know what, I need some time. And I had to be okay with some things falling apart in the house just so that I could take that time to be with myself, to recognize myself again, to feel myself. I had to have that alone time. Okay. So along with that, I had to start taking myself out. All right. So I had to write some notes, y'all, because I ain't want to forget nothing. So I had to start taking myself out. I was going to the Olive Garden.
My God.
I was putting on some nice clothes and I was taking myself out to the Olive Garden. I love the Olive Garden. Y'all act like that's like a real fancy restaurant, but it is to me. Okay. So I was going to taking myself out, doing like little jazz nights and stuff like that. I had to reconnect with myself. Okay. So that's another one. Church. I know some of y'all already go to church, but I was kind of was not going to church and stuff. I am a pre-K, but I was kind of not going to church and stuff like that. And so not even just going to church, but even if I didn't go to church, I would make sure in the morning I was turning on, instead of turning on the news, because it's crazy out here, I would turn on Pastor Omar Tebow. I would turn him on and listen at somebody's positive message of the day. So I was waking up and listening at God's word, okay? So even if I wasn't going to church, in my mind, I was telling myself, we're going to spend some time with God, okay? Meditation and prayer is very, very important. And that goes into that time that I was making sure while I'm getting ready for work, I'm listening at the word of God. I'm listening and I'm meditating. I'm thinking about all the things I need to be grateful for, because as long as I was thinking about everything that I was grateful for, it took away from all the stress of the world. Okay. Rest was very, very important. So I had, like I said, the doctor gave me some medication to sleep. So I was able to get more sleep at night and, be able to calm my nervous system down, child, because this is bad. Okay. So my last thing that I really, really had to do, and I suggest all of us hardworking ladies that's real strong, that want to be superwoman and want to wear the cape all the time, take the cape off, okay? And set some boundaries. Set some boundaries with people and let them know, hey, do not try me, all right? Like, do not try me right now. I'm trying to heal myself. I don't want to have to hurt you, all right? You got to set some boundaries with people because we don't want to hurt nobody while we in perimenopause, but don't push us, okay? So you got to set some healthy boundaries with people, like the things that people was able to get away with and you was not liking it. You was not liking it, but you was letting them get away with it. When you in perimenopause, it ain't no slipping and it ain't no sliding, all right? You not going to let them get away with nothing, so you got to let them know off the rip, like, look, I'm not playing with you, okay? Don't try me. Don't try to test me either, because it ain't going to go the way you want it to go, all right? So you got to set some healthy boundaries, okay? All right, so we done got into all of that. Now we're going to get to where I am now, all right? I am much better. I am feeling much better about myself. I'm still a little chunky, but I don't care. I started liking being just a little bit, having a little bit more fat until I decide, until my body decides to, the inflammation and everything to calm down and my nervous system. Right now, I'm just okay with it, all right? Everything ain't going to magically just go away. It ain't just gonna go away just like that. Like that. If you trigger me or you try me, we just gonna have to see where the healing at. But today I think I am doing much better. Okay. So, let me see what else I wrote down here. I wrote down here, some days I understand myself and some days I don't. And I've realized that that's okay. Okay. And I let my kids know off the rip today, I'm not feeling myself. I don't even understand why. All right. So I'm going to just go and take me some alone time so I can get it together. All right. So some days you're going to understand yourself and some days you ain't. What else I put down here? I walk, I pray, I meditate, and I intentionally make time for myself. That is very, very key. And you know why? I'm going to tell you what my analogy is, and this just may be me. When you get to this stage in life, you start realizing that you done gave everybody your time, your effort, and all of that. And very few people, when you're going through this part of your life, it's very few people that even notice that you're going through it. They may say you're a little grouchy or whatever, but nobody takes the time to be like, oh, let me pay for you a spa day. You're stressed out. Let me cook you something. Everybody just expect for you to continue on doing what it was that you was doing. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get to the point to where, listen, I started asking for help. I started being, look, you're going to have to help me. This is something that us stronger women don't do. We act like we don't need no help. Baby, you're going to have to help me or you're going to have to get out the way, because I'm not going to be able to just see you just not help me or not do anything right now while I'm having a crisis, while I'm having a whole meltdown, okay? So don't be ashamed to ask for help, okay? I know it's tough, but don't be ashamed to ask for some help, all right? I know y'all done heard everything that I done talked about. I tried to keep this video real short, but I really wanted to get out there how I really felt and really, really reach out and touch somebody's hand, okay? So if you're in this season, okay, and you're wondering, like, what is wrong with me? Please don't suffer in silence, okay? Talk to someone. Talk to your healthcare provider. Talk to your friends. Talk to your husband. Give yourself permission right now, in this stage of life, to be vulnerable enough. Did I say that right? Vulnerable. I think I missed it, but you know what I'm saying? And you got to get to that point to where you're okay with saying, look, I need some help. And it almost took me out, y'all. Perimenopause almost took me out, and I'm still on the battlefield with it. So I'm just here to let you know, even though perimenopause changed me, it didn't get me. All right. It didn't get to take me out. It almost did, but it didn't take me out. Like, I claimed the victory over that thing. And I want you to claim the victory. I want you to figure out what it is for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought I was losing everything. I almost did. I almost lost my house. I almost gave up. Baby, I wanted to go live in a van somewhere. I don't even know how I was going to make it in a van with all these clothes and everything that I got. But baby, I wanted to go and live off in a van and just go from state to state. Perimenopause had you crazy. You know what I'm saying? But what I was really doing when I was doing and going through all of this and suffering with anxiety and depression and all this different kind of stuff was I was just trying to figure out how to save myself. I was learning. And I want you to think about it that way. When you are feeling all of these emotions, you're just really trying to figure out how to save yourself and how to get through this point of life because you're so used to always fixing everything. All right. So that's the way I want you to look at it. Is you're just trying to figure it out. You're just trying to save yourself. All right. So don't be like me for a lot of years where I just suffered in silence. I suffered without taking anything. I suffered and just attacked and just almost destroyed my family, my connections with people and everything. And I want you to notice and try to recognize the signs and realize that you are not alone. All right. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I am going to come back and I'm going to show y'all some different things that I have been doing. Y'all, your girl is back and y'all know I got to give you the truth for real. Honest to God. All right. I got to give you the truth on whether it's good or not. And, you know, everybody be trying to sell something these days. Everybody be trying to sell something. And sometimes them folk be lying. They be telling lies about that stuff. It don't be all the time be good. But, you know, I'm going to tell you whether it's good or not. In the meantime and in between time, I want y'all to go ahead and subscribe, like, leave a comment. If it almost took you out, all right, let me know that it almost did, but it didn't. It's your girl Stella, and we out.